And Deepti Laurent joins us now for a look through today's papers. And here in France, Emmanuel Macron is expected to announce a new Prime Minister, but he's been delaying it a bit, Deepti.
Yeah, after great delay, Oliver, and you can feel the exasperation in the press today. This is from Le Parisien newspaper, which on its front page asks a question that no doubt everyone is asking. Why is it taking so long? After a vote of no confidence that forced Prime Minister Michel Barnier to resign, why is Macron taking so long to name a successor? And in its editorial pages today, the paper says, even calls him the president who takes his time, and wonders if it's because he's scared of deciding or paralyzed by an inability to decide. Similar sort of coverage from Le Libération, the left-wing paper, which looks at today here what lies ahead for the next prime minister. In its editorial pages, the paper says that Macron is taking his own time to decide, and finally a new prime minister is expected to be named this Friday, a date that will hopefully be no omen on the next prime minister's reign, because it is indeed Friday the 13th. So take what you will, the good or the bad of that. Libération suggests that it's taking so long simply because it's just very challenging to find a candidate who will please everyone in this extremely fractured political environment in France. And the next prime minister will not only have to sort out the budget ASAP, but also make decisions, as it says here, on agriculture and school reforms. Le Figaro, the right-wing paper, for its part, looking at the financial repercussions of this political crisis. The political crisis is creating despair among French entrepreneurs and businesses. The country has no budget and no government as of now. And Le Figaro rather says a vicious cycle has set in place. No visibility, no investment, no business activity, no hiring, no job creation.
And meanwhile, Politico is looking at Germany's political crisis. Chancellor Olaf Schulz will face a vote of confidence on Monday, and he's also expected to lose.
Yeah, that's right. More political crisis continues in Europe. In Germany, Olaf Schulz is facing a vote of confidence in the German parliament in Monday. And according to Politico, he's likely to lose that. It means that German voters could be forced back to the voting booths in snap elections as early as next February. Olaf Schulz's three-party alliance, including his own SPD party, the Greens and the Centre-Right Free Democratic Party, had collapsed. And if he loses his vote on Monday and dissolves parliament, well, then the centre-right rivals, the Christian Democratic Party, are most likely to win the next election. And if they do, they would most likely elect Friedrich Merz as the next chancellor, a man who is seen as being a strong backer of Ukraine against Russia, much more than Schulz at least.
And staying in Europe, in Georgia, the pro-Russia Georgian Dream Party is set to name its president tomorrow amid great political conflict in the country.
Yeah, that's right. The pro-Russian far-right party Georgian Dream is scheduled to name Mikhail Kavelashvili as successor to the pro-Western president Salome Zurabishvili. The party, the Georgian Dream Party, claimed victory in parliamentary elections in October. But constitutional law experts have decried the elections as being fraudulent and rigged. Now, Zurabishvili, for her part, says she will not step down until new parliamentary elections are held. As the French paper La Croix explains in this article here, the country could face a situation where it may have or will have two presidents coming at a time, of course, of great protests, great pro-EU protests in the country in support of Zurabishvili. Our partners at RFI have published this article here, noting that she's a former French diplomat seen as a beacon of hope against an increasingly repressive government that has adopted a series of Kremlin-style laws and shelved plans for Georgia's accession to the EU. The country is now, as I mentioned, facing uncharted territory with this political crisis. And there's an interesting article from Net Gazeti. This is a independent Georgian news website, which reports that the U.S. has imposed visa restrictions on about 20 Georgians whom they see as undermining democracy in the country, and it's really it sends a strong message. The U.S. has condemned Georgian Dream's brutal violence against protesters, the press, and citizens. The U.S. Department has said in a statement. Now that is being relayed here by NetGazeti, which in this disclaimer says that it is an independent publication and that it condemns the Georgian Dream's attempts to impose Russian-style laws, including curtailing democracy and freedom.
And moving on now to the UK, where the big story is a bizarre war of words that has erupted between Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, and Tory leader Kemi Badenoch over the great British institution that is the sandwich.
That's right. Who would have thought that this could become so political? Very bizarre indeed. Now, the leader of the Conservative Tories, Kemi Badenoch, sparked, I guess you could say, a food fight in a recent interview she gave to the conservative magazine The Spectator. They did a profile on her in which she said that eating lunch is for wimps and that she brings lunch in and eats and works at the same time, presumably to show how hardworking she is. And then she delivered us this unforgettable line: "I will not touch bread if it is moist." It could have ended there, but no, it didn't, because the Washington Post reports that when asked, the Prime Minister's spokesman said that Keir Starmer is very happy with a sandwich lunch, calling it a great British institution, saying that his favourites are tuna and grilled cheese, to which Kemi Badenoch then accused the Prime Minister of having time to respond to her jokes, but not to struggling British farmers. Not to be outdone, Nigel Farage, the far-right leader, then posted a picture of himself with a glass of red wine, asking the centre-right voters who they'd vote for, him or Kemi Badenoch. The moral of the story being, don't touch the cultural touchstone that is the British sandwich.
Exactly. Let's talk about another cultural touchstone that's seeing its last days in the Netherlands, the Miss Netherlands beauty pageant.
Yeah, you can read about this on our website and France 24's website. The Netherlands says that it will be axing its Miss Netherlands beauty pageant after 35 years, saying the concept is just too antiquated now. You remember last year the pageant actually made news for electing the first transgender Miss Netherlands. Organizers say they're hoping to use this space to promote mental health, female empowerment, and foster more support among young women.
Thank you very much for that, Deepti Laurent. And that's all we have time for now, but do stay tuned for more news coming up on France 24.